Hey y'all, I'm back. I am so glad that everybody is enjoying my videos. I am so grateful that you guys are watching my videos. This video today is going to be centered around opening your hips. I have a lot of male friends and followers that keep asking me, hey, I lift a lot, but I don't stretch enough. Can you give me something to help me, do these certain things? So for this video, we're gonna work on our hips. You're gonna see a lot of poses that I've done already, only because hip opening poses are quite simple, but they help you with, so much flexibility, not just here, but all the way around in your lower abdomen. So what we're gonna do, I have my reference over here to the side, but I want you guys to go with me and do our 3 breaths, like our beginning, like we did in our other video. And remember, like I said, we're gonna be inhaling our positivity and exhaling our negativity, all right? Inhaling, imagining all of our creative juices flowing, imagining all of our blessings coming to us, imagining all the things that we speak into our life actually claiming and coming for us. That's what we want to think when we're inhaling. When we're exhaling, we're pushing out all of the negativity, all the doubt. I can't do this. I feel like I'm terrible at this. I feel like, I'm all this other craziness. Don't worry about it. Let it go through your exhale. So we're going to do 3 breaths. All right. You ready, guys? Great. All right. So a lot of hip opening poses are done on the floor. So I think what's best, since I'm already standing up, we're gonna do some of our standing poses first. And what do you know? Our first pose is downward dog. That is really great for your hips, as I told you in your other video. You have to center your hips down and push out for where your back is straight, so that you can feel your hips having all of that sturdiness. All right. So, like I told you guys, I don't like to just go straight down into downward dog. So I'm gonna do a forward fold. You don't have to follow this, but this is just what I do. So, all right. From here, I do 10 seconds. And then I'm gonna walk my hands out, adjust my feet to just about as wide as your hips are, and keep your back straight. Shoulders should not be near your ears. Your head should be kind of close to where your elbows are. Not putting too much pressure on your wrists or your ankles, because some people, like I said before, they're probably not going to be able to put their their feet all the way down. So just try your best to get that stretch here, but also make sure that your hips are sturdy. This way it gives us a good foundation. All right, so good pose to start with is Warrior 2, which is you're gonna bring your foot up. Your leg is gonna be back. You wanna lean into this lunge with your arms outstretched like this. These are one of these picturesque poses that we talk about in yoga that I was saying could be on a poster. This is that stretch, but this stretch helps you with your hip here when you're pulling into this lunge, because it's opening from the bottom and around. So we're gonna lean in, keep your arms out. 10 seconds. And then down. Back to the other leg. This way. Lean down into your lunge. Arms out. You really want to feel that right here when you're leaning into your pose. You want to feel that stretch here. So from here, what I'm I'm gonna do, it's gonna be an extended side pose, like a side stretch. So from here, I'm gonna bring my hand down to the inside of my foot and bring my arm over my body so that you get a good stretch here and that hip too. And then back to your other foot. Bring this hand down. Bring your arm over. It's good. All right. So, another good pose to do while we're standing is this very simple pose of mountain pose. You want to make sure your feet are equal distance and in line with your hips, not wider than your hips or any closer. Hands out, palms ready to receive your energy. Let's stay here for 10 seconds. Take a good couple deep breaths. Okay, so downward dog. It takes a while for you to find like a comfortable place in downward dog, only because with your hips having to be so square so that you have a good foundation, making sure your back is straight is very important. So from here, we're gonna come down to our mat. Whew. First pose that we did from our other video that we're gonna do now is cobbler's pose. Like I said, if you can only get your feet here, bring your elbows on top of your legs and push down when you fold over. That helps you get that extended stretch in your hips here. I'm gonna pull mine all the way forward to me. And I'm gonna grab my ankles and push down. This, like I said, helps here in the inner thigh, but it also helps you stretch here in your hip as well. Okay, so our seated twist pose that we did from the other day. Actually, let me bring this one this way. Yeah. And we bring our elbow over our knee, hand is supporting us this way. When you press your elbow into your knee, you're gonna feel your stretch here in your hip, into your butt, back into your thigh. So, another good pose. It's called a half hero pose. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna keep one leg straight. You're gonna bend one leg, keeping it as parallel as possible to the leg that's still outstretched. And then you're gonna grab the bottom of your foot if you can. If you can only get to your ankle, cool, but make sure you're bending forward, because this is opening hip here on the inside of this crease, and also for the other hip for the leg that's extended as well. Awesome. And then same for here. Grab this foot. Now, hero, usually you're just sitting up, kind of stretching. I fold also So it just gives you more of a stretch if you push down with your body into your hips. Great. So next pose, tad bit more difficult, but really, really good for your hips. It is called lizard pose. Now, I want you to place your hands underneath your shoulders. Actually, no, we're not even on our hands. We're gonna be on our forearms. And then you're gonna bring whichever leg you wanna start with up to where your foot is close to where your ankle is. And then you wanna outstretch that leg. This is giving even more stretch here, down into your butt, into this hip, inner, all the way around your hip. Stay here for about 10 seconds. Great. Now for your other one. Down on your forearms here. Leg up by your elbow. Extended leg out. Push down into that. This pose is only a little bit more difficult because if you're not trying to be actively flexible, it's not gonna feel as good of a stretch. So it might feel like your groin is, too tight. So if you get to a point where, like I said, it's uncomfortable, any of these poses are feeling uncomfortable, you don't have to do it, okay? It's only for your comfortability and how your body feels in your moment, okay? So, good, next pose is cobra pose. And that one we did in our other one. We're going to do plank. Plank is good for your hips because you have to have good strong core to have a stable hip balance. So only 10 seconds. I'm not your personal trainer. All right, another good one is pigeon pose. So this one you sit up for. You bring your leg forward as if it's folded, but make sure you're not rolling over onto the leg because then you're not getting your stretch. You want to keep your hips as square as possible so that it almost feels like you're pushing your chest back, but you're trying to keep yourself stable and up so that your hips can stretch. Both here on this leg in the front hip and here on the back leg. Now, you see me do this pose, but I fold over, so all right. So, next leg. Keep that leg outstretched. You don't want to be like you're falling over. If you feel like you're propping yourself on your knee, your hips, you need to be pushing down harder so that your hips are more square, because that's giving you this stretch here. Okay, so Next pose after this is similar one as well. You've seen me do it. We're gonna put our legs down and then bring one knee to your chest. This is really good. You saw me in one video even pull my leg over, but that's to get that stretch here in the hip, so you can do that for an added. However, you want to try and keep your hips as flat to the mat as possible, or your floor, or wherever you're doing it. If you have a little bit of a lift, that's okay, because it's inevitable since you're pulling it to the opposite side. And then pull it down for your your inner thigh here. It gets a really good stretch. And I'm really glad actually that guys said something about this, because I have been exercising a lot more and I've been running recently. So my hips are starting to hurt me because I had an injury a long time ago to both my hips. So it's helping me get my flexibility and mobility back. Okay. So the next pose, a little bit more difficult. What we're gonna do, lay back, bring your legs as if they're like your feet were about to touch your butt, but they're not about to touch your butt. I don't know if that's a measurement, but I just made it up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a bridge, but it's supported because we're gonna have our hands underneath us, and then you're gonna raise up a leg. This is good for both hips, but the raised leg gets that added stretch. Everybody doing good? Great. So we've come to our last pose, which you've also seen me do. The American term is corpse pose. The actual name of it is Satsvana. And this is where you keep your feet apart a little bit, your hands are to your side, and you just lay for a few seconds. This is good for your hips only because imagine your body connecting down to the foundation that you're on. Not as though you're being pushed, but just that the energy here in your hips, from all the stretching that we already did, it's giving it a minute to rest. So, another good pose, which we're gonna end on, it's called easy pose, and that's just crossing your feet where your ankles are on top of each other, not like cross-legged like when you were in school, but one leg here, one leg here. We're gonna open our palms, and we're gonna take 10 deep breaths, inhaling our positivity and exhaling any negativity, right? We're all about claiming our good things, right? We have to believe it. We gotta feel it. Okay? All right. So guys, don't come for my hair because I really need to wash it. All right. We're gonna take our breaths. I'm gonna guide you in the first 3 and then join me with the rest. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Last one. Thank you guys so much. I don't know how much gratitude I can express to you guys, but it is endless. I appreciate each and every one of you. This one was for the fellas. Guys, if you're gonna lift, if you're gonna exercise, if you're gonna go hard, you need to stretch. And these are really good poses for your hips. If you're very tight, you've been, pressing a lot with your legs, you've been doing your lunges, your squats, all that good stuff, get it in so that you're not gonna be walking around like an old man, okay? Next one I do probably is gonna be upper body, so that you guys can, get into stretching your arms, your shoulders, your chest, things like that. If you guys have any more requests for me, please tell me. I love it. The feedback is giving me such good momentum. And I just want to say I'm so thankful for all of you. Next time, we'll see what we do then, okay? I love you guys.